show. I hate bad secret media.
Hey there, gamers. Welcome to the Secret Levels podcast. On this week's episode, grab that little leg that you have in your fridge incubating. You know what? One day a dinosaur might pop out. Who knows who it's going to be? You're going to find out on this week's episode.
I'm player 1, Toby.
And I am player 2, Goobs. And we have a special guest on this show with us. He is the man. He is the myth. He is the 97th exit. Mr. Most Days Off, Miles!
Oh my god, I love that, Goobs. That's amazing. Thank you. I am player 3, and I am so honored to be here.
Fuck you, Richie. I'm taking your job.
That's right. Miles from the Best Darn Diddly Review Show. And what do you do over there at the Best Darn Diddly Review Show, Miles?
Well, each and every week, my co-host, Richie the Whiz Kid, and I talk about a classic episode of The Simpsons in chronological order. We're currently in the middle of Season 7, so smack dab in the middle of what they call the Golden Age of The Simpsons. Literally every single week is a fan favorite, just nostalgia fest of fun, going through some of the jokes that a lot of us grew up on.
Awesome. I love the show because y'all break down every single joke and then little fun facts. Hell, you even do side research sometimes on some of the fun facts that you're looking up to make sure like history is right on the characters and stuff, or just like little things. You've gone out of your way to do more research outside of The Simpsons to find the facts on certain things.
Yes, my therapist describes it as a unhealthy amount, actually, of dedication that I have to this gig. But yes, I do put a lot of time and effort into digging up into every nook and cranny of The Simpsons, because there are a lot of fun stories of things that come out of the writer's room. Some of them are teased or shared on the director's commentary from the DVDs. Some of them come out years later in tell-all books and other various forms of media. And it's just really neat reflecting on the show that's now been around for over 30 years. They've literally had 30 seasons of the show, and I believe they're renewed for a 31st at this point. So it's just crazy to see this cartoon that has been literally around as long as I can remember. And that's what we talk about each and every week.
Almost my entire life. The Simpsons have been around. That's how old it is.
Yeah, I was born in 85. My co-host was also, he was actually born in 85. That's right, too. He was just earlier than I am, a little bit older. But we're both born in 1985, and The Simpsons debuted in December of 1989 officially. Of course, it was on the shorts on the Tracy Ullman Show in 1987. But as far as that goes, I mean, literally as long as I have memory, The Simpsons have been a part of my life.
Right. Well, and you are one of our buddies from the Somebodies Network.
The Somebodies Podcast Network. We are an eclectic bunch of friends who support each other, and that has just somehow turned into something bigger in either our minds or real life. We're not sure yet, but either way, it's super fun.
It's like Japan. We're bigger in Japan.
For real. But no, it's I love being a part of that group, and I can't encourage people enough. If you're, we keep seeing all these tweets, which I think is some sort of scam or just a thirsty tweet or something of, tell me more about which podcast to listen to. If you just search #somebodies, pick one, and you're gonna like something, and you're gonna know that it's done by an independent person that is just passionate about whatever topic they're podcasting on. You get everything from great topics like video games with your guys' show, the Secret Transmission podcast, the Paranormal, one of my favorite podcasts, and the podcast that actually drew me into the group to begin with, the Derailers, a podcast which I like to think was born on my show, the Best Darn Diddly Review Show.
It was.
Thank you for confirming that. Yeah.
Every time we tell our origin story, you're a part of it.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. I like to think of us as having like this like Marvel esque or we're gonna have like this interconnected podcast universe. So right now we're in phase 1, and we all have our
centipede in the Marvel podcast, the Marvel universe.
Yeah, we're definitely going ass to mouth at some point, but either way.
That's where Crumb comes into play.
The hashtag somebodies, you're going to find a podcast about something, and you're going to be rest assured that it's done by somebody like yourself that's just passionate about their whatever topic, and they give everything they can into entertaining you on a usually weekly basis. I think most of our shows are.
Yep. Well, with all that out of the way,
all the sidetrack.
Have I jerked off our group enough? I'm trying to do like an octopus thing here where I get everybody's dick at once, but it's tough. I miss some. I mean, we got the Cretans Guild, we got the Throwdown Thursday podcast, Casual Sex with Crumb. We got who am I missing? Adam has a new video game one, East Coast Games, I believe it's called. Yep. There's so many great shows. I'm sorry if I missed anybody here. Ocho and Ortiz, those guys.
The Cretans Guild, Random Ramblings with Rob.
There you go, yeah. Rob, man. Love Rob.
Bunch of great shows. But like you said earlier, we're going to be talking about video games on this show. And
video game.
We're talking about an amazing fucking video game, top of the line, to the point that I cannot believe I'm here now talking about it, because how you haven't covered it already is beyond my scope of reason.
We discussed to save the big titles for our best friends.
Oh, I'm flattered.
You're one of them.
I'm flattered that whoever that was had to cancel, and I got in here.
Man. Remember that next season on The Simpsons when we pick an episode.
I will. Hey, and you've got a good one coming up. Goobs is going to be joining me soon to discuss Homer Palooza, I believe it is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's coming around faster than you know, man. We're already halfway through season 7.
It smells like Otto's coat, which some rooms probably smell like Otto's jacket.
Excuse me.
When you're playing this game back in the day.
Or, yeah, when I finished it. I got the 96th exit earlier this afternoon because I wanted to. I started playing right after the Royal Rumble, and I've been playing about an hour or so each night, and I just wanted to do a complete run-through of the game before we talked about it here tonight.
Awesome.
As you should.
Well, we're talking about Super Mario World. This game was released November 21st, 1990 in Japan. In North America, it was released August 13th, 1991. And everywhere else, I guess Europe and everywhere, it was April 11th, 1992. So, about a year difference almost for each one. Well, not a year, but, there's
a good chunk of time.
Good chunk of time between each one. It was developed by Nintendo. I mean, it's Mario, and it was published by Nintendo. It's Mario. It was released for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Now you're playing with power, superpower.
Hey, real quick, do you call it SNES or SNES?
I call it SNES, I think, for the most part.
I'm a recent SNES adopter. I was always SNES when I was younger, but now I'm kind of seeing the ease of saying SNES. It's like it's like saying BRB in real life instead of saying be right back.
That's what they called it over in England and European regions, is
SNES,
and I find that much easier to say.
Yeah, the syllables are kind of expensive, so you just SNES.
But at the same time,
especially
to me,
now, you want it now, you want it fast.
True.
Yep.
But at the same time, to me, NES is still NES. I understand from your last episode, even Earthbound, Ness is, the character, and I think that's an allusion to the console. But for me, it'll always be NES, because NES sounds weird in terms of talking about the console, whereas SNES doesn't really bother me.
This game was also released on the Game Boy Advance, the Super Nintendo Classic, the Wii, the Wii U, and the 3DS Virtual Stores. So you can play this game.
And hopefully the Switch soon, man. I'm really hoping that they drop that SNES or SNES, I just did it there, emulator, because I would love to have this on the go. This game is one that you can pick up.
They're still selling the SNES Classics, right?
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, they want to make their money while they can before they give it to you for the subscription fee. So this title is a 1 or 2 player game. It's a side-scrolling platformer. And guys, there's a story. Would you like me to tell you a story?
I love story time.
I'd love to hear it. Story time with Toby. Don't take my sound effects, Miles.
I'm so sorry. Woohoo!
So, Mario and Luigi go on vacation to Dinosaur Land after saving the Mushroom Kingdom from
No,
Bowser.
Toby, you're describing Jurassic Park. I think you got it on the wrong page.
No. This is the right one. Believe it or not, they are in Dinosaur Land. And this all takes place after the events of Super Mario Bros. 3. While on the beach, Mario and Luigi relax, and they take a nap. When they wake, they find that Princess Toadstool has disappeared.
That tramp.
She's run off with someone else.
She wants a big dinosaur bone.
So they come across a huge egg in the forest, and it hatches, and it's a dinosaur creature named Yoshi. So he tells the brothers about how his friends were put into eggs just like him by monstrous turtles. And, of course, the only monstrous turtles the brothers knew was Bowser and the Koopas. So they set out to save all Yoshi's friends and the princess, and stop Bowser. And that's the story. That's
all you need.
Yeah. I'm sold. I'm invested.
You know, I really love the simple stories like that. Like, princess, been kidnapped, dinosaurs, eggs, we gotta stop the bad guy. I like simple stories.
And I like, this is this is pretty old fashioned here, but this was a story that you only got from reading the manual. This wasn't given to you in the game. You had to actually read the manual in order to have this full back history before you just showed up at Yoshi's house in the game and read the letter saying that Yoshi is, searching for his family that had been entrapped in eggs, blah, 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 and now you're off on a new adventure.
Right, yeah, and that's something that's a lot of Nintendo older games do. Like, you have to read the manual to get the story, and that's kind of a lost art form now with like PS4s and all the new games don't even have a manual most of the time.
Right. Well, and what's funny...
Some of them don't even have a story.
What's funny is I actually really get annoyed with games when there's too much text reading in a game. Like, not that it's like I hate reading, like that makes me sound pretty redneck, but at the same time, a lot of times when I'm playing a game, I don't have necessarily a ton of time, and I want to get right to the action. I usually play more arcadey titles for that reason a lot of times, but even like a lot of RPGs, when they're trying to tell a story, there's like times where you're like, holy shit, I have just read a novel. Like, if I knew I was going to read this much, I would have busted out my copy of The Half-Blood Prince or something and like gotten into some Harry Potter, because this is ridiculous. But like at the same time, the manual was a lot of fun because you could kind of start playing the game and eventually, you're going to have to take a shit and you just grab that manual, run to the bathroom, and you can now catch up on your story. And you're like, wow.
In the bathroom, you read that shit on the way home.
That too, yeah. That's right. When your parents were driving, you just sit in the back seat and you'd have that story ingrained in your mind before you even hit the power button.
You knew all the buttons. You had everything memorized. You're like, I know.
All the power-ups. You see that feather for the first time. Like, what is that?
Oh, my God, that feather. That feather is so good. I never thought that I would be so, like, happy to be touched with a feather that way, but apparently I am.
Well, you haven't had me tickle you with a feather yet, Miles.
This game should take you anywhere from about 2 to 5 hours to beat, depending on the paths that you take or the hidden spots that you find. So, because how many exits are there that you can take?
There's 96 exits if you get all of them.
96. So there's 96 different exits for all the level. Well, not for each level, but
96 total exits. There's 72 levels, and I think then that would be 24 of them have a secret exit.
Right. So there's a weird glitch where you can beat the game and start the credits like really fast.
Like
so
less than 2 or right at 2 minutes, right?
Well, I found all this out on speedrun.com. A player by the name of Furious has a world record of 42 seconds using that glitch. Oh my God.
Yes, dude, have you seen how they do that glitch, though? It's crazy. Like, you have to put so many items in a very specific place, because essentially what you're doing is rewriting the code of the game by placing items in certain spots so it confuses the code in the X and Y axis.
Yeah, you're just tricking
It's nuts how people have, like, even gone to figure this out. Like, it's so funny to me, because, like, I think back just playing the game as a kid. it was something just discovering like, oh my god, I found the secret exit, so now I know where the top secret zone is, and I can get unlimited feathers and unlimited Yoshis, and
Yep.
like
You get the one-ups.
some motherfucker is like, if you place a turtle shell at x-axis 3, 7, 9, 12, 15, 19, 37, 43, etc., whatever it is, and then you do that Yoshi trick at the right time, and I think you eat like the football player dude, it completely glitches out the game, and you get credits like almost instantly. How did somebody figure that out? How?
The first person that figured it out was like, what did I just do? How do I recreate that? And they sat there for hours trying to figure it out.
I assume it has to have been done on an emulator, and they're looking at like the code simultaneously as they're like placing these
A lot
items.
of speedrunners do that.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's one of the shortest actual like playthroughs that I saw was which they went to the Star Zone and went around everything to get to Bowser's Castle fastest.
That's the 11 exit method, I believe, right?
11 exit is what they call this type of speedrun, and the player on speedrun.com that has the fastest record his name is Area 51.
Yeah, I saw his.
His
Oh my God.
speedrun is 9 minutes and 45 seconds.
That's crazy, dude.
Jeez.
But honestly, the one that impresses me the most, I mean, those are both incredible, like that people figured out how to do that. But the one that impresses me more than anything is the world record for all 96 exits is an hour and 12 minutes and some change. And like,
Jeez.
that, like, it's actually available. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube. And like, the dude has to have a completely flawless game. He hits every single jump. Half the time he's skipping power-ups.
Is that where he's all small? Because I know there's a record for all small as well. Like, they take no power-ups
He
at
does
all.
not stay
Jeez.
small
Just
the
go right
entire
through the
time
game.
because there's places where it behooves him to get the cape and skip major portions, and he also does a lot where he uses flying Yoshis. But just the fact that he's just plowing through, especially when you get to those the special world, that motherfucker, those 8 levels, I mean, some of them are not bad, but there's a couple of them in particular we're going to talk about during the rage section of this podcast.
The balloon?
balloon.
Tubular, dude. Tubular, it earned a solid 1 right there on my rage meter, just with by itself, that one level, so... and there's more, but so just when you see him go through that, and it's like, wow, I mean, no mistakes at all. It's incredible.
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways to speedrun this. I mean, there too many to name, so I just did those 2. But how about we actually start talking about the gameplay of this game?
Hell yeah.
There is a lot to talk about, and there's a lot to break down, so we're going to miss some things, but we're going to try to touch on everything. So this would be like your typical platformer, but they've added a lot of stuff from the previous Mario games. There's collectibles, there's new enemies, there's new power-ups. There's just a lot of new stuff. You use the D-pad to move, the B buttons to jump. Y and X, if you hold them, they help you run, use special abilities.
And if your finger's not holding on Y, you're playing the game wrong.
You're doing it wrong. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's no
You gotta
joke.
have it on the whole time.
They added the spin jump, though. The spin jump is an entirely new mechanic, and that's just with Mario. That's not even talking about what we can do with Yoshi, but that spin jump is hella useful.
Yeah, so you can break through certain blocks and
And you can jump on spikes.
You can kill more powerful enemies.
with just one hit. So it's definitely a cool improvement from, especially coming from 3 and this technically being number 4 in Japan, but not here in the States.
Yeah, there's kind
Fun.
of a divide on that where people are upset that there's no Mario 4, but I think that it's pretty clear cut from the Japanese version of the game that this was definitely intended to be the sequel. And while they definitely changed some things, like it's kind of weird that they went from the leaf gives you a raccoon tail to a feather gives you a cape. It still kind of makes sense just
Stop
in
taking
the...
my fucking questions!
Oh, sorry. You're welcome. But like the...
I was just gonna ask you guys, what do you prefer, the cape or the feather?
You were close.
Or not the cape or the feather, the fucking leaf or the feather.
So, you guys might know, you've probably seen, I know Toby has, but I actually have a tattoo on my arm with Mario with the raccoon tail after he gets the leaf. And that game is really special to me as well, Mario Brothers 3. But the truth is, I do believe that Flying with the Cape is actually a little bit more fun. It's kind of the natural sequel of things, where you respect the first one because it kind of laid the ground for it, but they took what you could do with the raccoon tail and they really up the ante with the cape, because there's so many tricks that you can do with the cape where you can skip
the back and forth motion, you can go up and down.
and you can skip huge
down,
portions of
slam.
levels. Yeah, you can slam into the ground and kill enemies. You can access secret areas. I mean, you could do that with the raccoon tail as well, of course, but I just feel like it was a perfect evolution to the raccoon tail in general.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, because with this one you can do the glide thing, and with the raccoon tail you could only fly for a certain amount of time. This one you can, like you said, skip huge portions just by gliding through the entire thing. So
you can carry a fucking dinosaur with you.
that's true. Yeah, you don't fly as well, but you can still fly.
I really like the raccoon suit though. I think
the Tanuki suit, the entire where you're entirely enclosed like a little bear. Or whatever.
Yeah. It's so much cooler, but I do love the cape.
So I will say I have a little saying that I came up once. It was a friend of mine. We were chatting about this concept, and it's part of the reason I chose to get this tattoo. But when you look at Mario 3, unusual thing about that power-up is that is the only time in Mario Brothers games that Mario uses the leaf to get high.
That's good.
So it'll always have that, and it'll always have that going for it.
That's real good. So what's another addition to this game is you can actually stack some of your power-ups. So if you get an extra power-up, it goes into the middle top screen. And so you could have a fire flower or
fail safe.
Yeah, so if you
get hit, you got that coming down.
But that was also kind of a natural evolution from Mario 3, because they had that window that you could access stuff on the map sequence there, and then in this game, instead of being able to do so on the map, it actually happens in real time when you're playing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But to access that, you hit select, and you can drop, like if you have something sitting in there, and you say you have the fireballs and you want the cape, you can actually switch. You can hit select and it'll drop and they'll switch. So it's pretty neat that you can do that.
Very useful.
So some of the other power ups, we talked about the you have your fireballs with the classic fire flower. You have the feather that gives you the cape. The super mushroom, just like in all the Mario games, you get the mushroom, makes you big. If you get hit, you go small again. If you get hit again, then you die. It's your typical Super Mario Brothers.
But your Dino Pal can get some power-ups as well.
Yes. So, Yoshi by himself is a power-up. So you can hatch Yoshi out of an egg, and you can ride him. And he's
a tank. Like, he takes any hit damage for you at all. Like, it's like a free hit.
Yeah.
You can be a sacrificial lamb.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we all know that we've watched our little Dino Pal fall to a bottomless pit while we made it safely to the other side.
Not Jenny.
She won't kill the dinosaur.
Life and limb to try to jump on Yoshi, and I was playing with her. She died several times just trying to save the dinosaur. You gotta love, she gotta let the animals
live. That confirms about everything I know about Jenny Bean, and it makes me love her even more, so good for her.
But yeah, you were right. Yoshi can get these little wings that'll take him into a coin.
It'll turn you blue.
Well, it'll take you to
heaven?
coin heaven. Yep, and it will turn your Yoshi blue. But there are other.
So is he dead?
Do what?
Is he dead? Because he's an angel.
And he's
wings.
blue. Oh, whoa, that's dark.
He suffocate while he ate a turtle shell and just suffocate.
Oh my god!
Oh,
He
whoa.
ate that blue shell, suffocated, and then he went up to heaven and took Mario with him.
Matt, Pat, where are you at with this game theory? I feel like we need this in our life.
Yeah, I mean, possibly.
That is stumble on
I think
something.
you did, you fucking savant.
You forgot the idiot part.
There are other Yoshis that you can get with, and each one of them, the different color Yoshis that you get have different abilities. So they all do something different. Like if you hold a shell in your mouth, you might be able to fly with one, or do like a ground pound type of move. They, like I said,
shoot fireballs
from the shells and stuff.
I love the way it feels in the game, like how everything kind of shakes when you have the yellow Yoshi or the yellow Yoshi power up, and it kind of rumbles when you hit the ground, even though there isn't actually a rumble pack in the SNES or the SNES again. But it feels like somehow they did a good job, like with the way they shake the frame. It gives it a little bit of a rumble
you feel it.
aesthetic to it. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel it. There's also the balloon power up, which
pea
kind of
balloon.
like, the pea balloon, which inflates you and you just float.
It is yellow.
It is yellow. Gross. I think we're finding out a lot about this game.
It's our Kelly's favorite activity in the summertime.
I love when he inhales it. You get really big, but like when it starts going out, you get really small, and you get smaller than you actually are. It's like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, that is very weird.
And then I wrote down, it's kind of out of order, but the only way you can save in this game, because there is a save feature, you can save after beating a castle or a ghost house.
Or a P switch.
Right. After the P switch. Let's talk about the P switch and what it does, because is there four different colored P switches throughout the level?
There's 4 of them, I believe. It's yellow, and then the next one is red, then green. Is that right? And then blue?
Yeah, I think that's right. So you find these on the map. Sometimes they're hidden through some of the levels. Now, if
you gotta get a key and get that awesome. Woo.
A little quick tip on that: if the level is red instead of the yellow dots, there's a hidden path in it. So if you see it red, there's obviously going to be a hidden path somewhere in there to unlock a way to go to the Star World or to one of these switches.
Or a secret place.
Do you guys remember the time you had that revelation, when that became knowledge to you? Did you guys play this when you were younger and have that realization at some point?
Well, I first found that out in a Blockbuster video.
Oh, wow. That's fun.
Because when the Super Nintendo was coming out, I would go to Blockbuster Video and rent my NES games and everything like that. So I went to Blockbuster and they had a kiosk there with Super Mario World in it. And me and this other kid, I swear, we spent fucking 2 hours in Blockbuster Video. I don't know what the fuck their parents were doing. Maybe they're at the bar or something. Who knows? But we were just going back and forth, just playing this game. We made it pretty far, and we tell each other, okay, do this, do that, do this, do that. And we found out some secrets, and then I forced my parents to buy me a Super Nintendo shortly after.
Wow, you forced them. How un-Canadian of you.
Well, sometimes a Canadian gets what a Canadian
Did you
wants.
Mom, Dad, I won't say please again until you buy me a SNES. Oh, so sorry about that. I didn't mean to be violent.
I won't say the F word again. French.
At the end of each level, you go through a gate-looking thing, and it's got this white bar that moves up and down. So if you touch that bar, it's kind of like in the first Mario Brothers where you pull the flag. So it's similar to that. So you want to hit it as high as you can. The max that you can get, you'll get these star points, and the max you can get from it is 50, and that's if it's at the very peak top. When you get a
tip.
When you get 100 of these stars, you get to go to a mini game, and it's kind of like how would you explain it? The squares.
It's they give you just what is it? How many squares?
There's 9 total.
8.
9 squares total.
It's tic-tac-toe is all it is. You just got to line them all up. The one in the middle is locked, and you got to hit the rest. But I've got to ask a question because it's going to drive me crazy otherwise. I've played this game a really long time, since I was a young kid. I am under the impression that the maximum amount of points you can get on that ticker tape is 40. Am I really that bad at the ticker tape? Is it 50?
I think it's 50. I
could have sworn it was 40. I thought it was you could get single numbers up until 30, and then from 30 it actually skipped all the way up to 40.
I might be wrong on that. I don't know.
I sure hope so, because otherwise I've literally never hit a 50 in the 3 decades that I've played this game now.
Well, I nailed that bonus game every time I was doing it. It was
you get that rhythm,
first block that matches, boom, 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 and then all the 1-ups just drop down, rain it like Mario's at a strip club, raining 1-ups on everyone. Woo!
He actually twerks a little if you hit all 9 of them the same.
That's a strip club, Mario.
So there's another mini game where you go into the tunnel and there's 3 blocks, and you have to figure out the right order to get a 1-up to come out of them.
Oh, that one frustrates me so much.
Yeah.
No, that's just up to random.
I think it's just a crapshoot. I really do. I think you just have to. I think it's one of each order, each way up, and you just kind of are guessing which it is.
I think so too.
You get the angry bricks, like, fuck off!
I hate when you miss the block and you actually accidentally jump up to the next level.
Oh,
And
that
you're
is
like,
the
shit.
worst. Especially if it's the third
happens.
block and you knew you were about to get the one up. That was the, like, oh my god, what did I just do?
This game's really easy to get lives, though. Like, I don't think I've ever struggled with lives. Well, not since I was a kid in this game, because it's not so easy that it's not fun, but they're very generous with giving out lives.
They are.
You know?
A lot of people say that this is by far the easiest Super Mario Brothers game, and I don't know that I could argue with that, but I think what's so beautiful about this game isn't necessarily that it's as challenging in the traditional platformer sense, but it combines a really solid platformer with challenging sections with like a puzzle game in a way, because there's so many of these hidden secrets that take a really creative mind to find sometimes. Like sometimes they're super obvious, and sometimes it's like, how in the hell would you ever think to figure that out? And especially again, back in the early 90s, because this game came out when I was 6. So, I mean, I played this...
Nintendo Power, man.
Nintendo Power and the school bus, man. The school bus is, I think, where more knowledge was obtained about this game than anywhere else, because you'd go home and you'd be like, oh shit, last night I was in the first ghost house and I flew up into the top corner and found out that there's a secret key up there that opens up a secret level, and you're like, oh shit, I gotta go home and try that. And then, of course, there was, like, the ones, like, sometimes your friends would be a dick and be like, yeah, Yoshi's house, if you fly up exactly in the center, there's a bonus level that you can only access, and it's like, no, there isn't. But at the same time, like, you have these...
You asshole, I spent 2 hours!
I spent all night doing this. I didn't even do my homework because I was trying to access the secret Yoshi house level, you dick.
You have to tell the teacher the dog ate it, now I'm drawing on a chalkboard.
Yoshi ate my homework?
There you go. But yeah, so you get the green mushrooms for 1-ups. You can get a rare moon will give you 3 extra lives. 100 coins will give you a 1-up. Like I said, there's a lot of different ways. When you're Yoshi, you can eat the different colored berries. I didn't realize this, but there's 3 different colored berries that Yoshi can eat. If you get 10 red berries, he'll lay an egg with some kind of power-up in it, usually a
I believe
mushroom.
it's a mushroom, yeah.
Yep. And if you eat 2 pink berries, it will make a coin-throwing cloud appear, and then...
Yeah, I love that little fucker.
Yeah.
Happy coins.
Except sometimes it's at the most inconvenient time. You're like in a really difficult platforming section, and it's like, is now the time you're going to drop gold coins into this bottomless pit?
Well, and then there's the green berries, which I didn't know this, but it adds 20 seconds to your timer on the level.
But I believe they're only on the level Mondo in the secret world. Like, that's the only place that they're found, and it seems kind of strange that they're almost, like, out of place.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't recall anywhere else that they might be, but... Yeah, so you do have a time limit. We forgot to mention that, but there is a time limit that'll give you some time, which that's kind of neat.
And the music gets super intense, and as all Mario games, like, I gotta run right now, holy fuck! You breathe into a paper bag.
It's funny, though, because it starts so early. Like, usually when that, like, speed-up music starts, it makes you so panic-induced, and you look and you're like, I've got 2 minutes left, man. Like, it's fine. Like, it's totally cool. But the music in general...
I go panic mode right away.
Yeah, it instantly induces panic. It's such a great job, the music in general. And, like, the scary music is great, but literally the music in general in this game is another point to talk about, just because they have so many melodies, and the use of the 16-bit music, however they did that back then, and the way they were able to express a unique, like, feel for each of the 7 islands that you visit during the course of the games. Like, none of them feel the same. Like, they all, with just a little bit of sprite differentiation and then the music backing it up, that gives you, like, you're escaping into this whole new world each time you go through a land.
Yeah,
the music's definitely flawless on this game.
Yeah, it's really got some really good music. It's fun. It's upbeat.
Stuck in your fucking head for days.
Boo's house is always, it's spooky. Like, I remember being a kid and it kind of...
Dude, that opening sequence they do for the ghost house, they do it for both the castles and the ghost houses, but the way that they had the animation, as a kid, like, you felt like the ghost house was about to be
and Yoshi
really
doesn't wanna
intense.
fuck with
Yeah,
that.
Yoshi won't even join you. That's how bad they are. I mean, now it's kind of laughable, but like the ghost houses back then, I don't think that anybody was scared of them in like a traditional, like you're scared of something scary, like a boogeyman or something, but like that made it have a false sense of difficulty because of like the foreboding sense that they gave you before you even went into the level.
Yeah, it's that cutscene at the beginning that does make it feel like it's really important, that this is going to be a challenge. And
something really special is about to happen.
Sometimes it is. You got like 100 of those fucking ghosts floating around. I don't know which one's going to be randomly generated to come to life and kill you.
The giant...
I like all the animations on them, though, like the one sticking his tongue out and like the
There's a
different
bunch of
eyes
them,
on
yeah. You know, it's funny, as I was playing through these last couple of days for this podcast, I played through the sunken battleship level, which, first of all, I didn't realize until this playthrough that that's a direct homage to Super Mario 3 in itself. Like, that shows that it's a sequel, because that's actually a crashed battleship from the third game, and it has a lot of the same features, and, like, architecturally speaking, it's designed the same as those battleships were. But I remember...
Yeah, the airships.
Those, specifically, I remember that level, like, if you recall, there's parts where you'd be swimming along in this wide open room and just randomly all of these ghosts would appear and you were in the middle of it. And I remember as a kid, that was the scariest, like, most challenging, like, hardest thing ever. And I literally just, like, breezed through it on this playthrough like it was nothing. And I was just like, wow, the memory of it, like, I was even a little intimidated playing the level. I was like, oh man, hopefully I don't get hung up here. And I was like, oh, it's so funny that just...
In my teens, I called that the Titanic level.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, it makes sense. That's why there's those ghosts, all the dead people.
Hold on to me, Jack.
I'll never let you go, Goobs. Splash.
Well, so real quick, there's also the Yoshi coins, which I call them Yoshi coins. They're actually
dragon coins. Yeah, Yoshi coins.
But they have Yoshi's face on them. You get 5. And
well, he's a dinosaur, not a dragon. What the hell?
Yeah, that's weird. That I didn't even think about that.
You can't shoot fire.
Yeah, that's true. So, with this game, there are 7 regular worlds to beat, with 2 special worlds we've kind of talked about already. So you start at Yoshi's Island, then Donut Plains, Vanilla Dome, Twin Bridges, Forest of Illusion, Chocolate Island, Valley of Bowser, and then the 2 special worlds are...
Chocolate Island!
The 2 special worlds are Star World and the Special Zone, which can be reached through Star World if you find the correct path. So,
and to advance to the next one, you gotta fight one of the Koopa kids. Those little bastards.
Yeah, there's 5 different boss battle types that you're going to have in this game. There's one where you knock a Koopa kid into the lava by jumping on their head. There's a classic Mario one where you just jump on one of the characters' heads 3 times. There's this pipe guessing kind of one where you...
Those are fun.
3 pop out of the pipe, but you want to hit the one that has the pink bow or whatever. And then you have to hit them 3 times. The Mario games are notorious for the 3-time hit. Then there's the Resner Rhino things that are on the spinning platform.
Yeah, the Triceratop motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Those are only challenging due to the fact that the floor very quickly starts falling out from underneath you.
Yes. Yeah, other than that, they're pretty easy. And then, of course, you got the Bowser boss battle where he does several different things to try to shake you up, and he's more than 3 hits. He's actually 6 total, I believe.
Yeah, but honestly, he's one of the easiest Bowser fights in any Mario Brother game. I will kind of give...
Stomp those little Joker-looking motherfuckers, throw it up.
It's not hard. I mean, he's got a very simple pattern, even in his 3rd phase where he's angry and, like, really following you around.
But how intimidating was that the first time you did that? Like, he shows up in the big, like, smiley face and, like, oh my god, what is going on right now?
The music, the wah, like, all of it is so, like, intense. And I was going to ask you guys, do you remember the first time you beat Bowser?
Yeah, you don't think that it's over.
I think everyone remembers their first time.
You never forget your first.
Well, it because it is so simple, when you do finally beat it as a kid, you're like, that's it? That was
it.
all I had
That's
to
what
do?
I built up for. Yeah, the real
Yeah,
challenge in
it-
this game is the special road for sure. But
Oh,
I
my
remember
God.
I was actually at a sleepover, and we had stayed up all night long and actually gotten to Bowser's Castle the first time, and like everybody else went to bed. And I'm like, fuck that, I am beating this game, and it just went by so simply. But it was such like a blow because it was like everybody else was like asleep. I'm like, anybody see that? No, just me.
You're waking
no.
them all up?
Yeah, I'm like
Look at the
poking people,
TV.
like, I beat the game. They're like, great. And then like my parents came, and we had to go like drop somebody off at the airport at like a stupid hour in the morning. So I remember it fondly, but it was definitely kind of like a little bit bittersweet because it's just like, oh, if this had happened 30 minutes ago, I would have had like the accolades of my friends.
I mean, is there anything else with the gameplay that we've missed so far? I mean, the buttons, the controls handle so well on this game. This is one of those. This should be one of the standards for platformers back in the day. I really wish that a lot of platformers would have been like, "Hey, this is how a character moves and jumps."
This is better than Capcom Crisp.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
There's actually since you brought the controls up, or the tightness of the controls, I should say. Apparently, I've never tried this, but on the Game Boy Advance version, I believe it is, there's actually separate controls or movements for both Mario and Luigi. So Luigi actually jumps a little bit higher than Mario does, but he's slipperier.
Yeah, he does.
I've never
version.
played that one. Interesting.
He's a little bit more slippery, just like he is in the.
He's like the Mario 2 version of
Yeah,
That's
it makes
right.
total sense. It's really cool. I'm gonna have to find a way to give that a try at some point.
Hey, Miles, I got something here. It's not really related to Mario or anything, but we just give this little thing a little rub.
Should I rub this
Yeah,
right here?
just
Should I
give it a
stroke
rub.
it back and forth, caress it nice
Yeah.
and slow? Let's,
Good things are gonna happen if you rub it.
is that good right there?
Yeah.
Do you like eye contact or no eye contact while I rub it?
Oh! Who are you? You're not Toby.
Oh, I'm way better than Toby.
Oh, we'll have to see about that, my friend.
I'm gonna rock your world. I'm gonna rock your lamp.
Miles, this is the Goobs genie. He's
Goob's Genie is here in the room with a stranger and Toby.
Not since I met Satan on the Secret Transmission podcast have I been so excited to interact with a character on a podcast. It's so exciting to meet you.
I am at half chub as well, my friend.
Maybe me, you, and Satan can talk, get something together after the show.
Oh, that'd be splendid.
so Goobs genie. What do you have for us this week?
Well, you know, Goob's Genie likes to listen to a lot of music while I'm stuck inside my lamp.
Right.
So, this little cheat here will bring back some classic hits that your parents used to fornicate to.
Oh.
In the special zone, wait about 5 minutes. That would take the time for foreplay. Listen to the music. It should start playing variations of the original Mario Brothers song.
Ooh, very cool.
Baby making jams.
Boom.
Oh, boner, boner, boner all around.
Well, thank you, Goobs genie. I really appreciate that tip.
Just the tip.
Why am I getting stuck back in?
Suck it, baby.
Oh, the lamp.
I hope it was good for you, Goobs Genie.
Who's the Goob's Genie?
Oh, hey, Goobs. I didn't see you were back. Where'd you go this time?
I just went up to KFC.
Oh,
Got
I
some,
still
popcorn chicken.
cannot get over that Canadians have Kentucky Fried Chicken when they don't have a fucking Kentucky. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
We have Popeyes as well, and that's Louisiana fast.
That's fair.
Oh, guys. Okay, how about we jump into some fun facts real quick?
I love facts.
Let's hop into fun facts with Toby.
Ding!
Fuck off, Miles. That's copywritten.
So let's kick this off by talking about how much this game goes for.
Oh.
So you can pick up a loose copy of this game. Anyone want to take a guess? We're talking United States prices, not the Canadian prices.
Loose copy on this, only because it was so prevalent, because it was a built-in copy that sold with the SNES system. I'm going to say it's not going to be as crazy high as a lot of games of its caliber, so I'm going to guess like $80 loose.
80.
Oh, I'm going 20.
Well, this is loose, without the box, without the manual. you can pick this game up at your local retro store for probably $10 to $15.
Whoa, okay, that's crazy. Like, I would have expected it to be considerably more expensive than that.
Now, let's talk about closed in box.
This is going to get nuts because of the same reasons as before.
So,
CIB.
what do you think? American prices, Goobs.
I'm gonna go Chris Hundo.
100. All right. Miles, you gotta guess.
I'm gonna keep going really high on this. I'm gonna say 180.
Miles, you're always high.
Sticking to my
That's way too
character,
high.
man. Is that way too high, dude? But
that is way too high.
Earthbound was like 700 and shit. Like, what the hell?
Well, Earthbound's a different beast completely.
All right, that's fair.
This one you can get closed in box for about $60 to $70.
Okay,
That's a bargain.
Now-
Goobs could have almost bought two there too.
Here's an extra one because there was
Well, that's 100 Canadian, so...
right.
I'm terrible at pricing video games, apparently.
Here's a bonus one though, because they also had a version of Super Mario All-Stars with Super Mario World on it. So that one loose you can get for about $30.
That was more expensive, I know that for a fact.
Well, I mean, what a game, though. I mean, that's like just Super Mario World is fantastic. Super Mario 3 is a
Get the
gem.
fucking legacy, man.
1 and 2 are both very, very good, even by today's standards. And fucking the Lost Levels are challenging as hell.
Yeah, so you can get all that for about $30, which is damn near double the price for just the one.
But worth it.
for closed in box, it's only about $100. So
Wow.
it's not terrible.
I was ready for one.
I guess Earthbound is probably so desirable, both because it's not going to be as prevalent because of the not being built in with the system, and then also I know it had that manual that it was
That
paired
book.
with.
In the big box.
Yeah.
The big box and the book are what are special for that.
Yeah, for sure.
So in Japan, Super Mario World had
Everyone loves a big box.
So in Japan, Super Mario World had the subtitle Super Mario Bros. 4. So it was Super Mario Brothers 4 Super Mario World. So that's what it is in Japan. We just call it Super Mario World. In early screenshots of the game, they actually had the raccoon suit and Goombas, normal Goombas from Super Mario 3. So they obviously changed a lot of stuff before it came out.
You get like winged Goombas in the forest.
The
mysterious
Goombas
forest.
are weird in this game, and you can absolutely see that they use these character models for Goombas as inspiration for the Mario Brothers movie, the live-action movie that is notoriously bad, but I still find enjoyable to
We don't
watch.
speak about
I
that
like
here.
that movie. Fucking fight me. I don't care. I still enjoy
Hey, I
watching
do
it to this
too.
day.
Okay, well, when we do a review of it, we don't
There
need
you
to call.
go. I think it's great. It's so entertaining. But like when you look at the Goombas in that movie, you can see they're more rounded, and to me, they have like the same face, but with like lizard skin as the round Goombas do in Super Mario World.
Yeah. So this game took about 3 years to develop with about 16 people on staff. This game sold over...
That's just for the secret levels.
Yeah, no joke. So this game sold over 20 million units. So there's a couple of copies out there if you're looking for it.
I'm not surprised with the number at all. This is like a revolutionary game.
Yeah.
It changed the shit.
I heard that it was like the fourth highest, I can't remember if it was the fourth highest selling video game of all time or the fourth highest Super Nintendo. I think it was the number 1 Super Nintendo and the fourth highest of all time.
It was the 4th highest Super Mario Brothers game, I think. Because I do remember seeing that fun fact somewhere. But I think that's what it was.
If you don't own this game and you have a Super Nintendo, you're doing Super Nintendo wrong.
This was the system seller. I'm actually thinking back, my first memories of the system. You guys are probably both old enough to remember that when you'd go to department stores back in the day, they'd have demos of systems just kind of in a box where you could play them. I mean, like the real game and whatnot.
That's the Blockbuster thing I was talking about.
Yeah,
before.
exactly the same thing, except I was at like a grocery store or some nonsense, like a Kmart or something. I don't know what it was. I was 6, like I said. And this, I don't really know how it happened. I remember I was playing this game somehow, some way. Like every time you go to the store, you always ask your parents for for something and it's always no. I asked for this system, and I think my dad, I think there was a game, like it was Dragon Warrior or something like that, and he was really interested in that. But whatever it was, we came home with that system, and I was just in shock because now I had Super Mario World, and it was the only game I had for the longest time, and it was fine because there is so much to do in this game. One of the reasons that it's so fun is if you get stuck on one path, usually you've unlocked other alternate paths, so you never feel like you're just like pigeonholed into one spot and you get frustrated and want to like throw the controller. But we'll save that for the rage portion.
Yeah, this game was actually boxed with the Super Nintendo on launch. They also had versions that had Tetris, and I believe F-Zero was also one of the launch titles that you could get with the console. So, but
can't go wrong. Well, Tetris is Tetris. Like if you played Tetris once, you played them all.
Yeah.
You know, I felt that way. I must say,
Tetris.
real recently, I played this version of Tetris on PS4. That it was crazy the way it like incorporated like music into the game.
Yes.
I was impressed. Like usually I'm the same. I'm like, oh, it's just another Tetris game. But for whatever reason, this Tetris game that just came out recently on PS4, I was actually blown away by its use of like lights and sound in the gameplay.
Was that that game Luminescence, I think, for PSP?
Yeah, that was a good game too.
So here's a fun fact that a lot of people debate about. So Yoshi was apparently created from the very beginning. Like there was a drawing above the creator's desk of Mario riding a dinosaur type creature, which would have been Yoshi later on. But he says that the hardware limitations wouldn't allow for Mario to ride some kind of creature in 1, 2, and 3, which 2 being the Lost Levels in Japan. But yeah, he had original plans for Yoshi all along. So when Super Nintendo, the limitations, the hardware limitations were better, so they were able to do that. But there's a lot of debate because people point to Little Nemo, the Dream Master, because you can actually ride characters in that and transform into other characters and stuff. So
it's true. That's a good point.
And feed them candy.
Yeah, feed them candy, and then you Bill Cosby them, and then you ride them.
Yeah, but because you figure out how to date rape dinosaurs in one game doesn't mean that they could have done it the way that they wanted to in Super Mario World.
Gay dinosaurs.
But yeah, so it's a big debate on like, well, if they could do it in this game,
Megasaur ass,
why not this game? So, anyways, in the Japanese version, Yoshi can eat the jumping dolphins, but not in the American version.
That's that's very interesting just to think about that concept.
Yeah, this game actually fits on a 4 megabyte.
You were close.
4 megabyte cartridge compared to the 3 megabyte cartridge that Super Mario Bros. 3 used on the NES. Luigi was just a palette swap of Mario in the original version, but when they re-released it with the All-Stars game, he got his own sprites. So he actually looks different in that version.
Yeah, he definitely does.
So
yeah, this one he looks exactly the same.
Right, yeah. If you just play Super Mario World, it looks exactly like Mario, just green. But if you play the one with All-Stars on it, you get the actual...
Why isn't Luigi getting no love, man?
I know. It's kind of sad.
He's always been taller and slimmer.
So you know that little...
More handsome one, in my opinion.
Right. So
I don't know. I like the little cushion for the pushing that Mario provides.
That's why you're on here.
So the demo version of the game that's playing, before you press start and select which save state you want to go to, that is an actual unfinished special level. So that was actually going to be in the game.
Oh, no shit. That's new. Very cool.
Now, I forgot to look for this fun fact when I was playing, because when I'm playing, I'm not really thinking about, I gotta look for this one nitpicky detail. Apparently, Yoshi has orange arms in the game if you play the Super Nintendo version.
I played it, and somebody had I literally just watched a video doing some research for this show, and somebody had pointed out, and they're like, once you see it, you will never unsee it. But I have to be honest, it doesn't even remotely bother me, even a little bit. They don't really it doesn't look weird to me. Like, I get it. Like, I guess if you look at it really close up and freeze frame it, it's something's off about it. But I think it would have looked weirder if they would have had the same color, because it would have just looked blurry and like a mistake. And that's probably why they had to change the color to begin with.
Yeah, and I think in the that All Stars Super Mario World version, they did fix it to match his body.
Green. Interesting.
Yeah,
but see,
and
that would have
also
had higher. At that point, though, I believe they had better graphical capabilities.
Yeah, probably. And then they also had something to do with Bowser's color being a little off or something on his arms as well, and then they fixed it in later versions. So
interesting.
If you want to play a castle or a ghost house over again in the North American version only, you can't do this in the PAL versions. All you have to do is be on whichever level you're wanting to replay and use the L and R triggers. So I think you press L and R and you can play that level again. I didn't try this myself, but if you need to play a castle or something again.
What is this, a Toby genie?
Yeah, I actually did this. There was one of the castles I just wanted to play again after I had done the playthrough. I really like the castle number 7 where you're riding the like brown bricks through the thing.
That was pretty fun.
The version I was playing, which this time I'll admit I was using I have a Wii emulator, or an SNES emulator on my Wii, and I was playing on that. So I have no idea which version I was playing. I know it was, I assume it was the US version because everything was in English, so I guess it could have theoretically been the UK or Aussie version.
Right. So if you beat the special world, it changes most of the backgrounds and some of the enemies. They call it the fall theme, I guess, or fall or autumn. I always called it Halloween because a lot of the characters
Definitely
are wearing
Halloween.
They're wearing masks. Yeah,
they're wearing Mario masks,
and then the plants are wearing pumpkin masks.
Yeah, so I always called it the Halloween. So you have to
Michael Myers.
That's how I did my playthrough this last time. I went through and I beat the first the Star World and the Special Zone immediately. So that I could get everything changed, and then I played the rest of the game just to change the aesthetic a little bit. It's nice. It's fun.
See, I always end up doing that last, and then I'm like, after I've beat the game, and then I'll go do that, and then I'm like, well, now I don't want to play through all the levels, so
that's why I did it first.
Yeah, but I don't think I've ever beat it with the fall theme on or whatever. So, but yeah, it'll change the colors, it'll change some of the characters, but that's it. It's just
Aesthetics.
It's just the aesthetics. Shout out to the Interstate Gamers.
Stealing your shit.
We're stealing their gimmicks.
Beating the shit out of me at Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're not going to talk. We're not giving them credit. They said it on their show that they beat us, and we're not giving them that credit. It never happened.
I got spanked by him. I'm not even going to try.
Anyways, so Yoshi's Island, the game Yoshi's Island, is actually called Super Mario World 2. Yeah. It's Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. So
I was so disappointed by that game. It's not a bad game, but it's not
it's not Super Mario World.
No.
Yeah. Well, which is funny because Super Mario World is actually Super Mario Brothers 4. So is Yoshi's Island actually Super Mario Brothers 5?
I don't think that connects in the same way just because it's not the same titular character.
Right.
Baby Mario.
Yeah.
It's like
a prequel.
It's like Back to the Future.
It's a prequel.
Okay, you had me with the Back to the Future
so
thing.
like Mario was actually in the island of dinosaurs at the time. Was a child but doesn't remember it. He comes through and then he watches his best friend die and go to court.
Is Peach her own granddaughter?
Yes.
Could be.
And the last fun fact I have for this, and there's a lot of stuff that we're not even touching on. There's so much cool history with this game, but the last one I have...
There's a lot of shit with Mario. We probably skipped over a bunch of it, but we're trying to get the most we can.
Right. Yeah, we don't want this to be a 6-hour podcast, just a 5-hour.
That's what I signed up for.
It could be with
I start charging double. I start charging double in hour 6.
Oh, we better hurry up. So the composer who wrote all the music for this game only used one electric keyboard. And a lot of the music throughout the game, you'll notice, has the same melody. It's just with different tempos. And, he was very clever about how to make the same melody sound completely different. And he
It
wrote
worked
it all
well.
with one keyboard. I think that's pretty impressive.
It's
I
amazing.
wonder how much that keyboard is worth. Like, it made
The
history.
Super Mario World keyboard.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start
yeah.
going to Goodwill and like just scratching that dude's initials into the back of them and like a thumbtack and being like, I've got the original sound
think it was
guy from Mario
Casio?
World.
If you subscribe to the Patreon of Best Darn Diddly, we'll give you a keyboard that was made
God.
from the original composer of Super Mario
Just to
World.
be
Yeah.
crystal clear, my Patreon is on the level, and if you do want to support us, that'd be great. We're not going to rip you off, but it's a great idea. Tell you what, if you don't support me on Patreon, I'm going to start selling these rip-off keyboards.
Yeah, I think it was I'm not real good with instruments, but I think it was a Casio, if that sounds right. Some Casio?
Casio?
So, anyways, but that's it for fun facts. What do we do after fun facts, Goobs?
You know what we do?
Fuck off, Goobs! It's time to rage!
Oh, come on!
So, this is our patented rage meter. We give a 1 to 10 scale of how pissed off this damn game will make you. And who wants to go first? How pissed off? 10 being that you're super pissed, 1 being you're not pissed at all. Who's going first?
I'll go first, because I'm light and easy.
You are easy.
Well, I'm heavy and easy in real life, but in video games, I'm light and easy. I'm gonna right down the middle. Boom! Solid 5. Playing this game forever. It's not that bad. You go through, it's a breeze. It gets pretty hard in later levels, but like, I don't know. It's a solid 5 for me, man. Mario, you know it like the back of your hand. It's like every time you jerk off and shoot, it's like Mario. It's easy.
Gross.
So I'm actually gonna go even lighter on this game and I will fully admit, like most of you, I have raged a time or two while playing video games. If you don't believe me,
But you
can
learn.
ask the Whiz Kid. He's seen it in all of its ugliness. You know, like we've all been there, man. Like it happens. But
Yeah.
frankly, this game has so much going for it in terms of, like I talked about, the alternate paths and things, that there's never a time with this game where other games make you rage and want to quit just playing altogether. This game, I feel like, at most, makes me want to quit the level I'm currently playing and go play a different level. Like,
At most days.
very
off.
rarely am I like, fuck Mario. Like, that almost doesn't ever happen. But I am going to give 1 out of 10 on the rage just for Tubular, because that fucking level, when you get the rhythm, it's not bad. But man, oh man, did I spend a fair number of lives trying to get under those goddamn footballs. Those things suck.
And the football's in the flower plant that shoots the fire, like right after.
It's
It's like, okay, I dodged the football. Oh shit!
Yeah, it's tough. So that's 1, and then I'm gonna give it a second for a total of 2 out of 10 on the level outrageous. You know what? I'll go ahead and give it a 3 out of 10, and I'll give all of the other special levels combined the third
You were
one.
crapping
So
on me about
I'm giving
the
it 3.
fucking, raising my level before.
Well, I've heard, like honestly, the other levels aren't hard enough on their own to merit a whole point, but they are challenging. Those 8 levels are by far and away the most difficult levels in the game. I mean, just hands down.
The only reason why I'm shitting on Miles is because he mentioned in the Earthbound that I went up a couple notches.
I thought your first score is right. 7.5 is good on that game. It's a good game that has an impact on history, but it doesn't have the just fun factor that a game like Super Mario World has.
I concur.
Well, I'm on my rage meter. I'm gonna give this a 4, and I'm giving it a 4 because I think it's a really casual playthrough. But then you hit 1 or 2 things where you're like, "This should be easy. Why am I freaking dying every 5 seconds?
Sure.
Why do I keep dying on this part?" And you'll make yourself so frustrated because you know you can do it, and you know it shouldn't be as hard as you're making it.
And you'll do
then
stupid shit. Like, yeah, you'll fall into the same pit like 6 times in a row because you're like, why? My thumb is incapable of receiving the message to push the button at this right time.
But I think this game has, the right amount of challenge to where it's not gonna. I don't think you're going to peak out at a 10 ever in this game.
Never.
Even for the casual player. I think you'll get frustrated, but it's never going to make you want to just break your remote in half and chunk your damn Super Nintendo out the window. So
then again, we've been playing this game for years, so
that's true.
A newbie may get that frustrated.
But I don't even remember as a kid, like, same thing when I was a kid. I remember getting frustrated with parts, but I wouldn't ever be frustrated and fuck this game. I would be frustrated and say, fuck this level, and then just go work on, like, Star World, or usually Star World was what was frustrating me, so I'd go back to, like, the regular map and start ticking off the normal levels.
I do think you're onto something about, like, because there are different paths, because I remember distinctly when I was a kid, right after you beat the first castle, you know where it splits and goes into the water and left.
Yeah.
I couldn't ever do the one that was to the left where the wall
cave
moves with you.
Yeah,
I could never do that as a kid, and I remember I always had to go through the water because I just couldn't do that level. And then
so you were missing that switch, which makes the rest of the game harder too.
Yeah, so. Eventually I figured it out and everything, but
this is also honing our skills, man. This is what this game is all about.
Yep.
You gotta get better as the game progresses.
But yeah, so I think a 4 is just because I think it'll peak you a little bit, but not too terribly much. It's a good casual game for everyone to play, I think. But with that out of the way, with our rage out of the way, we can discuss if we love this game.
Calm down. Here's some nice music.
Yeah.
Relax.
We can discuss
embrace
if we love.
Let's just group hug right now, all three of us.
Kumbaya.
Which one of you has your hands on my ass?
That'd be me. Both of them.
So yeah, this is where we're going to talk about if we love the game, if we hate the game. We're going to give it a rating of 1 to 10. 1 being that it's a terrible game that no one should ever play, and 10 being like, hey, this is the best game ever. So, who wants to go first with their rating?
I'll do it. I've been thinking about it all day. I feel slightly guilty because sometimes I think I overrate things, but I'm doing it. It's a 10 out of 10. I love this game so much.
Damn.
I think you're the first 10 out of 10.
I know.
No.
Oh, that's fine if I'm not. But here's the thing. I've been playing this game since I was 6 years old. I just played it over the course of the last 3 games, and I would gladly sit down right now and play it again. I've beaten it on every system that I've ever owned. I've bought. It's one of the only games that I've purchased it on multiple devices. Like, I had the original copy. I have an emulated copy. I have the Wii copy that I paid for on the App Store or whatever. Like, and I usually will get 96 on all 3 save files, delete them, and do it again, and do it over and over. And I love the combination of the challenging portions of the platforming combined with the mystery and the exploration. And again, by today's standards, if this game were released today, I don't think it would have nearly the appeal that it had at the time that it came out. But because of the time that it came out, it wasn't pre-internet, but it was pre-internet in the way that we use the internet today. There wasn't even a GameFAQs at this time. There was Nintendo Power Magazine and your friends at school. And if you didn't figure it out with one of those 2 things, then it was just hours of playing the same motherfucking level over and over and over and over again until you found, hey, this doesn't look quite right. I'm going to go get a cape and see if I can fly up, and lo and behold, every once in a while, 9 times out of 10 you do that and there's nothing, but every once in a while you fly up and you find a new secret that you never knew you had, and then the next day at school, everybody at lunch wanted to hear exactly how you got there. And I think that, to me, it's definitely a lot of nostalgia points, but just the fact that this is a game that you can play with kids, you can play with people that don't play video games, and there's a challenge for experienced gamers, and there's a very not steep entry level of play, because it's very fun for people that will pick up a controller and just start playing through the world and can get to the flag, never even knowing maybe that there's another flag in the level that they could have gotten, but they don't care. They just feel accomplished because they beat the level, and then you can come back behind them and get an even cooler exit, and you both feel like you're getting the most out of a really great game.
Yeah.
It's all about the...
Goobs, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll give this game a 4.
What?
Come on now.
What?
Come on.
Plus 5. So solid 9.
That would be an 8 just for, math purposes, but that's cool. Either way, I'm happy with that.
5 plus 4 is 9.
Oh, I thought you said a 4 out of 5. Okay.
No, I said 4.
I got you.
Plus 5.
Dude, I was about to say, am I going to have to come up to Canada and have a very polite conversation about how wrong you are?
I'll give you a hug and be Big Spoon any day. This game is a solid 9, day in, day out. It's not the perfect one for me. Does it get the total 10 like Miles? But yeah, like you said it perfectly. This game is everything that you want in a video game. The music is on point, controls are on point, graphics are on point. Like they even hold up to me to this day.
Oh, absolutely. How many games now are being created in this style?
Exactly. And I played it on the SNES Classic.
Now you're going to be self-conscious about that always.
Yeah, I definitely am. But I played it on there in HD. I played with my wonderful wife, Jenny Bean, and we had tons of fun playing it. I had to give her a lot of lives through it. And I'm like, come on, it's a Jenny Life fun every time I get one up. So
that's right. You can pass lives. I forgot about that. When you're playing the 2-player mode, you can pass lives back and forth. What a great concept for...
So Mario is Jesus. He's birth of Luigi. Here you go, my friend. Drink my wine. Eat my health. Or skin, or whatever the fuck the Bible
Eat my
says.
health. That's exact. That was in Romans.
That sounds like a t-shirt that should be made, Toby. Eat my health.
Eat my health. maybe soon. But you're giving it a 9?
Solid 9, man.
9.
All day.
I'm going to go in between you guys and give this a 9.5. I think this is...
So I look like the dick.
Dude, isn't that funny, though? That's exactly what happened on our rage meter, too. Toby, you came in exactly in between Goobs and I there, and then we reversed roles here.
Well, I think Nintendo hit this one out of the park. I mean, the launch game. How can you strike gold like that and make a launch game this good?
Yeah, a launch title that still holds up literally, what is it now, 36 years later? No, 36 years. Oh, God, that's so bad.
No, not 36.
Not 36.
No.
Yeah, 26.
I'm not 45.
26, whatever. And also, that's still wrong, but years later, close to 3 decades.
It came out in 91 in the United States.
Yeah.
So do the math yourself. We never claimed to be good at math.
I've been drinking this entire podcast, and apparently that's not good for math skills.
But no, like I said, a 9.5. This game's a solid game. It's, like you said earlier, it's good for beginners. It's good for experienced players. It's a fun time. You're going to find a lot of stuff. You're going to have a good time. Even the history, digging into the history of this game is crazy because there's so much cool stuff. I don't know. They just nailed it with this one. And it's one of my favorite, like, everyone's got their first couple of games that they get for a console. Like, if you get Sega, you obviously got Sonic or Sonic 2. I love this game more than Sonic 2, and I love Sonic 2 a lot.
Same.
So, I think it's just a good launch title. It was just all around good. Looks beautiful.
It's the best launch title ever.
I think that's fair.
Let's just put it down to that.
Yeah, I think that's
like Mario 64. Is very close because that sold a lot of systems as well, but. We'll touch on that another
Dude,
time.
Mario 64 is a great game, but if you look at the replayability and how it holds up in today's world, I mean, it's still fun to play, but I mean, I would much rather play Mario Odyssey before I would pick up Mario 64, and I don't know that's true with, like, say, new Super Mario Brothers on the Wii U or now released on the Switch or whatever. Like, that's a great game, it's a lot of fun, but it doesn't hold a candle to Super Mario World in my mind.
So, our overall average between the three of us is a 9.5, which is funny because I looked it up earlier. IGN ranks this game out of 100. Where do you think it falls, Miles? Goobs knows the answer because we were talking about it. This, out of 100 games of the best games of all time.
Oh, no, I thought you were asking about a score. Okay, I'm sorry.
No.
So,
out of 100 games out of all time, where do you think this game falls on IGN's rankings?
Number 3.
1.
It's number 1? It is. I was like, that's where I would place it, but I didn't think that, like, other people would agree with me. I think it deserves it, hands down.
That's what I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
it's one.
awesome. I think it absolutely deserves it.
So
Oh, it definitely does. This game is flawless.
Again, that's why I was so honored and so happy to be able to come on the show and talk about this game. This game means a lot to me. This is one of the games.
I'm gonna pull a classic Goobs
What's
here.
that?
I'm pulling it. I'm pulling a classic
Do it.
Goobs. 9.5.
I love it. This is a bump I support right here. But no, honestly, guys, this game means so much to me. I when I think about what video games mean to me, in my past, and thinking about my childhood growing up on video games, honestly, this is probably the game that comes to mind before any other. I don't know any other game that I can think of, especially back then, that I remember having such like I said, those memories of going to school. Sonic had some cool stuff in it, and it was a great game, but it didn't have that, everybody could figure out how to get the 1-up or the big ring or whatever. This was like
the
big ring. But this was no, I found a secret key and none of my friends had found it yet, and there is something really neat about that shared experience that I'm really overjoyed to hear that IGN rated it at number 1. That makes me really happy.
Yeah, the exploration is definitely a new part of this. It's kind of like Zelda kind of shit. You gotta go find new stuff. That was never foreseen before in another Super Mario.
And it wasn't overly done. I'm going to say something slightly controversial. That dumbass shit in Earthbound where you have to wait for 3 or 5 solid minutes of nothing. There's not any of that dumb shit in this. There's nothing where you just have to randomly stumble upon something that you would never, ever know to do without being told to do it. For the most part, every secret.
Zelda has a bunch of that.
There's not the Zelda where you have to put a bomb at this random point in the game to find the cave. This game, everything that you find, every secret is you can use detective skills and deduce what needs to be done to get to the secret. Or a lot of times you'll know there's a secret to be found, and that'll make you at least search in that level for where you need to go. But there's nothing that's just so obscure that it feels unfair. It's a very balanced game in that regard.
that's right. I agree.
Finish him.
So this is the part of the show where we just talk about ourselves and we plug away our other projects. And Miles, since you are our guest, would you please tell us where we can find you and your other project?
Absolutely. I am at Mr. Most Days Off everywhere on social media, and you can find my Simpsons review podcast, The Best Darn Diddly Review Show, at Best Darn Diddly. That's DIDDLY. You can find that at bestdarndiddly.com and anywhere that you download podcasts.
Sweet. Goobs, what do you got?
Well, you guys know I got a couple things going on. We got a new, fresh, newly unsealed season of Derailed Wrestling on YouTube. Search up Derailed Wrestling, and you're going to see some great stuff. We have our man here, Mr. Most Days Off, facing off against the Credence Guild or the industry, and then shit happens.
The industry is below us, but the Cretans Guild we have some beef with. We're going to talk about it.
And it's going to be pretty interesting to see what's coming up in the future on that. And we got the commentary that's decent at best, as you guys all know. And we're bringing it really hard right now, the 2K19 engine. This game is looking absolutely amazing, and that makes our show absolutely amazing. The moveset is fresh, the characters are fresh, everything is fresh. But my ass is a little dry right now. You get a little lube in there and lube it up and make it nice and fresh again so I can fight in Derailed Wrestling. You can also check out the Derailers. This podcast with my wonderful wife, Jenny Bean, and my best friend, Ripken, and we take the train off the track every single week, and we pick a random topic, spin off on that, and who knows where we're going to go, because we sure don't. We have a lot of fun. We have some good guests coming up as well. So check out the Derailers podcast at Derailers on Twitter.
Nice. Well, for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Toby Von Doom, but you can also check out my other show where we talk about conspiracies, the supernatural, UFOs, cryptozoology, serial killers, just weird history. I mean, we take a look at all this stuff and we do it with a satire take. And we're available on all the major podcasting platforms. It's the Secret Transmission Podcast. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Secret Transpod. And the more important thing that you need to do, though, is you need to get on Instagram and Twitter and follow the Secret Levels Podcast at Secret Levels Pod. And we also have a Facebook page. And we also have a Facebook group called the Secret Levels Group. And you can come chit-chat video games with us. You can post some memes, some dank memes. You can... The
dankest.
The dankest. You can
smells good in here.
You can vote for the game of the month, and you can force us to either play a good game or a terrible game.
Bad game.
So it's a lot of fun.
They never pick my games.
Yeah, sometimes. We'll see. But go join that. We'd love to talk to you.
Also, go and review our show. Give us 1 to 5 stars, and we really appreciate you give us at least 3.
and maybe write something nice if you want. That'd be nice.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Good feedback helps us, encourages us to get the power to go on, go forward, be hard, be strong, be great gamers. And maybe one day we will get that score that puts us on the leaderboards of Toby's favorite site.
Speedrun.com.
Yes.
I'm just so happy to be on this podcast. This thing is so bad. Just like the Power Glove.
Hey, Luigi, what do you got here?
Look at this. I found this egg. What in the world is this egg?
It has green spots like you. Does it have, did you lay it?
No. I try not to lay eggs. Oh. It just hatched. What is that?
Hi, I'm Yoshi.
Oh, hi, Yoshi.
It's a Yoshi.
You look like you have a saddle on your back. Can you be ridden?
Yeah, I love to be ridden by Italians.
Oh, well, I'm just gonna hop on for a second, Yeah, you know what?
Don't break him, Luigi.
No, he's skinny. It feels nice. He's skinny in the right places, but thick in the others.
Mario, you should definitely give him a try. He could help us on our quest to find Princess Peach.
You look thick in all of the places.
Mario is robust. Let me jump on just to make sure.
I don't know if that's such a good idea, Mario.
Oh, it feels so right. Yes, you can hold my weight. See this little hole here? We can jump over that clearly.
I've only been alive for like a minute. Please, get off me.
No. Don't worry. Trust in Mario.
I can't.
Let's jump over the hole. Oh, yeah, you got this. You got this, Yoshi. Oh, no, Yoshi. I'm out of here.
Oh, no.
Yoshi is gone. Game over, folks.